My brother Kevin was always the problem child. While I followed rules and made good grades, Kevin was getting suspended, experimenting with drugs, and breaking Mom's heart on a regular basis. Dad tried everything to reach Kevin. Extra chores, military discipline, heart-to-heart talks about responsibility and honor. Nothing worked. Kevin saw Dad's military service as outdated machismo from a man who never understood the real world. Dad was a Vietnam veteran who served 2 tours as an Army medic. He earned his Purple Heart after taking shrapnel while treating wounded soldiers under fire. The medal sat in a place of honor on our mantelpiece, along with his Bronze Star and Combat Medical Badge. Those medals represent the best of what America can be, Dad used to tell us. Service, sacrifice, and putting others before yourself. Kevin would roll his eyes. It's just old war junk, Dad. Nobody cares about Vietnam anymore. Dad died suddenly of a heart attack when I was 26 and Kevin was 24. Kevin had been living at home, unemployed, and struggling with what we now know was a serious opioid addiction. At the funeral, Kevin seemed genuinely broken up. He even asked to carry Dad's flag during the military honors ceremony. "I want to make him proud," he said through tears. "I know I messed up a lot, but I loved him. I believed him. We all did." After the funeral, Mom was too grief-stricken to deal with Dad's belongings, so I took charge of organizing everything. Kevin asked if he could have Dad's military box as a keepsake. "I want something to remember him by," he said. Something that meant a lot to him. I thought it was sweet. Maybe Dad's death had finally motivated Kevin to turn his life around. The military box contained Dad's medals, his discharge papers, some old photographs from Vietnam, and a few letters he'd written to Mom during his service. Kevin seemed genuinely touched as he looked through everything. "I never realized how brave he was," Kevin said, holding the Purple Heart. "I was such an idiot to make fun of this stuff." 3 months later, Kevin disappeared. He'd been staying with Mom, supposedly looking for work and getting clean. One morning, Mom woke up to find Kevin gone, along with her prescription medications and the $60 she kept in her kitchen drawer for emergencies. We didn't hear from him for 2 weeks. Then, Mom got a call from a hospital in the next state. Kevin had overdosed and nearly died. He was alive, but facing drug charges. I drove 8 hours to pick him up when he was released. Kevin was a mess, 30 pounds underweight, shaking, barely coherent. "I need help," he kept saying. "I need to get clean. I can't do this anymore." I brought him back home and immediately enrolled him in an outpatient rehab program. Kevin seemed committed to recovery. He attended meetings, sought a counselor, and even got a part-time job at a local warehouse. For 6 months, things seemed to be going well. Kevin was gaining weight, staying clean, and slowly rebuilding his relationship with Mom. Then I got a phone call that shattered my world. "Is this Michael Rodriguez?" The voice was gruff but kind. "Yes, this is Frank Martinez. I own Martinez Pawn and Loan on 5th Street. Your brother Kevin just tried to sell me some military medals. I can't accept them. I think you need to come down here right now." My blood ran cold. "What kind of medals?" "Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Combat Medical Badge. They're in a wooden box with some personal papers. Your brother says they belong to your father." I felt sick. How much did he want for them? $50. For all of it? $50. Dad's Purple Heart, earned while saving lives under enemy fire, was worth $50 to my drug-addicted brother. "I'll be right there." I found Kevin in the parking lot of the pawn shop, pacing and agitated. When he saw me, his face crumpled. "Michael, I can explain. You sold Dad's Purple Heart for drug money. I was desperate. I owe some people money, and they said they'd hurt Mom if I didn't pay them. So you stole the one thing Dad left that meant something to him." Kevin started crying. "It's just an old medal. He's dead. He doesn't need it anymore." I wanted to hit him. Instead, I walked into the pawn shop. Frank Martinez was a stocky man in his 60s with kind eyes and calloused hands. He looked like he'd seen plenty of hard times and bad decisions. "You Michael Rodriguez?" "Yes, sir. I'm here about my father's medals." "I can't take these," he said immediately. "I'm a veteran myself. Marine Corps, 2 tours in Iraq. When someone brings in military honors for drug money, I don't participate. It's not right." He led me to the back office where Dad's wooden military box sat open on his desk. Everything was there, The medals, the photos, the letters. Your brother seemed pretty desperate, Frank said. Said he needed the money for rent, but I could tell he was using. I've seen enough addicts to recognize the signs. Thank you for calling me instead of just sending him away. Actually, there's something else. When I was examining the medals to verify they were authentic, I found something your brother probably doesn't know about. Frank lifted the felt lining from the bottom of the wooden box. Underneath was a hidden compartment containing a thick envelope. Military guys sometimes hid important documents this way, Frank explained. I only found it because I restore antique military items as a hobby. Inside the envelope were documents I'd never seen before. Asterisk a life insurance policy for $500,000 with both Kevin and me listed as beneficiaries. Asterisk stock certificates for a mining company worth approximately $300,000. Asterisk deed to a small property in Colorado that Dad had inherited from his father. Asterisk a letter addressed to my sons in Dad's handwriting. I opened the letter with shaking hands. Michael and Kevin, if you're reading this, something happened to me. The insurance money and investments are for both of you to split equally. Michael, you've always been responsible, so I'm trusting you to make sure Kevin gets his share when he's ready to handle it properly. Kevin, I know you think I don't understand you, but I do. I struggle with my own demons after Vietnam. The difference is, I had good people who helped me find my way. Use this money to get the help you need. Use it to build a life Dad would be proud of. The most important thing I can leave you both is this. Take care of each other. Michael, don't give up on your brother. Kevin, don't abuse your brother's loyalty. Love, Dad. My hands were shaking as I finished reading. Frank waited patiently while I processed what I discovered. Your father sounds like a good man, he said quietly. He was. And my brother just tried to sell his Purple Heart for $50 while sitting on nearly $1 million in inheritance. When I walked back into the parking lot carrying the military box, Kevin was still pacing. Did you get them back? He asked desperately. Look, I know you're mad, but I can explain. Kevin, do you know what was in this box besides Dad's medals? What do you mean? I pulled out the hidden documents and Dad's letter. Kevin's face went white as I explained what Frank had found. There's money. Almost $1 million, Kevin. You try to sell Dad's Purple Heart for $50 while you're sitting on inheritance worth nearly $1 million. Kevin collapsed onto the curb and buried his face in his hands. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. But you did know that these medals meant everything to Dad. You knew they represented the most important moments of his life, and you were willing to sell them for drug money. I was desperate. You were selfish. There's a difference. I sat down next to him on the curb. Dad's letter says, I'm supposed to help you get clean before you get your share of the money. You do that after what I just tried to do. That's what Dad wanted. But Kevin, this is your last chance. You go to inpatient rehab, real rehab, not just outpatient meetings, and you get serious about recovery. If you relapse again, if you steal again, if you disrespect Dad's memory again, you forfeit your inheritance. Kevin was crying so hard he could barely speak. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve Dad's money after what I just did. Dad thought everyone deserved a second chance. But this is your last one. 3 months later, Kevin completed a 90-day inpatient program. He moved into a sober living house and got a job at a veterans outreach center, helping other addicts find treatment. 6 months after that, I gave him his share of the inheritance, $400,000, minus the cost of his treatment. What are you going to do with it? I asked. Buy a house, save for the future, and donate some to the veterans center where I work. Dad would like that. Michael, I need to tell you something. The day I tried to sell those medals, I knew exactly what they meant to Dad. I knew how much they would hurt you. I did it anyway because I thought getting high was more important than Dad's memory. I know. How do you forgive someone for that? The same way Dad forgave you for all the years you disappointed him. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because love means giving people the chance to become better than they were. Kevin has been sober for 2 years now. He keeps Dad's Purple Heart on his mantelpiece, right next to a photo of Dad in his Army uniform. Last month, Kevin was promoted to program coordinator at the Veterans Center. He helps other veterans struggling with addiction find treatment and housing. His office is full of thank you letters from families whose loved ones he's helped save. Dad would be proud of what you're doing, I told him recently. I hope so. I spent so many years disappointing him. Now I'm trying to honor what he stood for. Frank Martinez became a friend through all of this. He refuses to take any money for his time, but Kevin and I both volunteered as annual fundraiser for homeless veterans. Your father raised good sons, Frank told me last year. It just took one of them a little longer to figure it out. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if Frank hadn't called me that day. Kevin would have gotten his $50 and spent it on drugs. Dad's medals would have ended up in someone's collection. We never would have found the hidden inheritance or Dad's final letter. Instead, Kevin got a second chance at life, funded by the father he'd spent years disappointing, but who never stopped believing in him. The Purple Heart is back where it belongs, representing not just Dad's sacrifice in Vietnam, but his sacrifice as a father who never gave up on his son. And sometimes the most valuable thing hidden in an old military box isn't money or property. It's proof that love can survive anything, even the worst mistakes we make.